In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and here is my husband Joe.
Hello.
Hello. And we are coming into your ears all the way from the Dordogne area of France. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Et bienvenue à le Business for Superheroes show avec moi, Vicky Fraser, et mon homme, Joe Fraser. I don't know if husband is home.
Hello.
Because wife is femme.
Mm.
Anyway, we're on holiday and we are sitting in a tent right now and recording this from the campsite.
Yes. It's somewhat unprepared. We have no notes, but a very nice view.
We do. We are looking out at... Well, we're just looking out at those. We're basically the only ones down on this part of the campsite, and there's a little stream running about 20 feet away from us, and also like 4 feet down from us, so we're not worried about flooding. And
there is a mole climbing around actually underneath our feet right now. I've seen the tent floor rummaging and moving this afternoon, so that's fun.
And there are 2 donkeys just on the other side of the gate, and there are 11 sheep just on the other side of another gate, and there are 2 lovely dogs called Milo and Woof, and another dog whose name I don't know but who is hilarious.
Lima, I think.
Okay. And yeah, this is a great place. It's called La Jorie. And it's down in the kind of central France.
Best tomatoes in Europe.
Oh my God, best tomatoes in Europe, yeah. So we've basically spent the last week eating cheese and lovely French bread and drinking good wine. And what are we drinking this week, Joe?
This week, and you'd think we'd be drinking a good bottle of wine, wouldn't you? But we're actually drinking Leffe beer.
Yes, blonde beer.
And
I'm drinking peppermint tea as well.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
2 drinks.
You know those like little French stubby beers that we keep trying to buy? I think they are only made for British people to buy.
Well, no, but we used to drink them in France. Well, I didn't because I was a child, but my dad used to drink them in France.
Yeah, but I think they're a product for British people because
they've got hardly any alcohol in them.
Yeah, they're just.
And then
can't find any.
We bought some small 1664s and realised that there's quite a lot of alcohol in those. And so you'd have one on a sunny afternoon whilst reading a book, and then you'd stand up and you'd be like, "Ooh,
yeah,
I feel like I've had 3 pints," because it's quite a strong beer. Anyway,
what are we talking about? What are we doing?
Well, we're going to be talking about writing books and things, but I just wanted to also point out to people that it's now, we're recording this on Monday, October the 1st, and we come on holiday quite late usually, kind of September time, but we're much later than even usual this year because we had a variety of things on. And so last year we went to the Ardèche region and it was great, and there was just stuff going on.
We went canoeing and we went down caves and we did stuff and we were all over the place. Yeah, it was nice.
This holiday we specifically didn't want to do so much, and so we've just been reading books and kind of chilling out. But I don't know if it's just this area of France or if it's this time of year, but I keep thinking we've dropped into the Twilight Zone.
It's like a zombie movie, isn't it? There's just the whole of France appears to be shut. Yeah,
there is like literally nothing. So we went to a town. Where did we go yesterday? Well, okay, so everything's shut on a Sunday anyway in France. I don't know if their Sunday trading laws are still stricter than ours. But today is Monday, and we went into a town called Nontron, which is an amazing name. Mm-hmm. And we thought, we'll be able to find, lunch.
It's a nice little cafe.
There'll be people.
Yeah.
And we did find a really nice cafe now, but it was the only one in the whole town that was open. And there were, we counted maybe, I saw 5 people, not counting the ones in the cafe.
There was I don't know where there's all these buildings. It's a built-up area. There's houses. There's shops, but everything's closed and there's nobody inside. I don't know, where are they all? What are they all doing?
Very strange. So if anyone knows the answer to that, can you please tell us? I suspect it's the time of year, but even with the time of year, we were thinking, well, people must live here.
Yeah.
They must live here. And so what do? And we heard children playing in the schools, although we didn't see them.
That's true. Could have just been a recording.
It could have just been a recording. And so now that's given me an idea for a book.
It's just weird.
It is. It's a beautiful area, though. This is a really beautiful area. And so today we went to a cave called La Grotte de Villars, and it had... So we're not far from Lascaux, but we haven't been to Lascaux, because Lascaux is actually... well, you can't go into the original Lascaux, and they've made a facsimile of it because it's too fragile, which is fine. But we went to this other cave, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a limestone cave with stalactites, stalagmites, kind of curtains, the draperies, and also a few prehistoric paintings of horses and bison.
Yeah, goats,
ibex. And it was amazing because we were standing there, and it was just like 19,000 years ago. There were, give or take a few years, there was somebody standing like exactly where we are standing now, painting this picture.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit boggling, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just very cool.
Really
beautiful cave. So, anyway, but this week I wanted to talk about writing books, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about, what I want to do with my business and directions to go in. And I know a lot about writing books. And so I thought we would address some of the reasons and excuses that people give me for not wanting to or not feeling like they can write their...
Well, hang on. Before you start going into excuses why people don't want to or don't feel they can, why should somebody write a book? What's that all about? I mean, busy business owner about town.
Yeah.
Going to write a book?
Yeah. Well, there's a few really good reasons to write a book. But I'll give you a big reason not to write a book to start with, is that it's almost certainly not going to make you like the next J.K. Rowling.
Right.
You're not writing a book in order to have it become a New York Times bestseller, make you £1 million just off the back of the book. And by the way, the bestseller status doesn't really mean anything.
No. Everyone can be the bestseller for the next 10 minutes if they want to be.
Yes, they can. And so that, by the way, is one of our donkeys, if you can hear that in the background. Is she done?
She's done.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you're not writing this to get rich off the back of your book. That's not the reason for doing it.
Okay.
The reason that I think everybody's got a book in them is because okay, so there's several reasons. It raises your status.
Status raising.
So rightly or wrongly, people still think that if you are an author, that somehow makes you a bit more special than people who aren't authors.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a hangover from the days when only the elite could read and write, and only the priesthood could read and write. And
so writers are just a bit special.
Yeah. It's kind of, and you could, if you think about it, we've got a phrase that almost describes it. It's like he wrote the book on it. And that suggests that, you're an expert on something. I think that you should be an expert on something. I don't think that you should write a book because you're not an expert at something and then it will make you an expert on something. I think that that's what total douche canoes do.
Okay.
But if you know more than your ideal customer about whatever it is that you do for a living, then write a book on what you know. You don't have to pretend, you don't have to blag more than you know already. But just write about what you do know and write about it in detail and in such a way that it will be helpful and valuable to the person who picks up your book and reads it.
Isn't with my slightly grumpy business owner head on, doesn't that sounds a lot like giving away my skills and knowledge to people?
Yes. And that's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah.
That's what I make my business on.
No, it's not. So everything that you could put in a book, I could look up somewhere on the internet for free. And so I get this pushback all the time with people who are like, oh, I want to write articles about this, that, and the other. I want to blog. I want to write daily emails. I want to write a book. But, I don't want to give it all away for free. And people really worry about giving away too much stuff for free. And I say you can't give away too much stuff for free for several reasons. First of all, it builds up trust. And the more people read, people have done research on this, and the more people read of your stuff, the more likely they are to buy from you.
Right.
Secondly, there is nothing that you could put in a book, pretty much, unless you're like on the cutting edge of space research or pharmaceutical research or, something like that. There is nothing that you could put in a book that I can't find for free on the internet somewhere if I do enough Googling. So all of the information that you're going to put in a book is out there already.
Right.
What isn't out there is your take on it, which is what makes it, so interesting. And I'll come to that in a moment. But If you're worrying that you're just going to give loads of stuff away for free and then people are going to be like, oh, brilliant, I'm going to go and do it myself now, don't. Because people aren't going to do it themselves. Maybe 1% of people will do it themselves and they will think you're awesome because you've told them how to do it.
Right.
The 99% of other people are going to be like, oh my God, that seems like a lot of work. I want someone else to do it for me. Who do I trust? Who's the person who just wrote the book on this that I read? I'll pay them to do it for me.
Okay.
Or they'll have a bash at doing it themselves, which a lot of people will try, completely screw it up, or just be like, I don't know, I haven't got the time.
Buried in the detail and not get anywhere.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, oh, who can I get to help me? Who could I possibly get to help me? And it's like, oh, maybe I should ask the person who wrote the book that I've just read. And that's why we write books.
Okay.
But my thing is, there's a lot of people out there who will show you how to write a book in like a weekend or something, and it will be, and I'm not knocking them. They do whatever they want. I don't want you to write just another fluff book that's loads of filler, that's loads of... Because there are a lot of books out there that I've read as well. I've picked them up and I'm like, you could have distilled this into 10 pages and it would have been more valuable. That's not what I'm suggesting that people do. What I would like you to do is really think about one thing that you know a lot about. And, there might be 10 aspects. Your subject area might be really wide. And there might be kind of 10 things that you could write about. Why don't you take one of those things and write about it in such detail and in such a way that somebody could pick up a book and learn exactly how to do what it is that you're telling them how to do?
Okay. So if I'm a hairdresser, what book should I write?
Well, if you are aiming it at people like me, who has feathers for hair, instead of actual hair and continually hates her hair, you could write all sorts of stuff on how to tell what haircut suits you, because if you're listening and you're a woman, you're probably going to recognise this. Oh my God, I love that haircut on, Angelina Jolie. I'm going to go to the hairdressers and ask for that haircut. And then they give me that haircut, and then I look like I've got a mop stuck on my head because I am not Angelina Jolie and I do not have the hair type that she has.
Right.
So that's like one of the big things is, oh, that haircut, I love that haircut. It's not going to suit every type of hair. So I've got really fine hair. And so... the hairstyles that will suit my hair type. So, hairstyles that will suit different hair types. Hair colours, how to choose a hair colour based on your skin tone. How to choose a hairstyle based on, I don't know, whether you want to spend half an hour every morning or 2 seconds every morning doing your hair. What the best products are to put, what's the best shampoo. If you're eco-friendly, if you're eco-conscious, if you want vegan, cruelty-free stuff, which everybody bloody should. What do I look for? What's good for my hair? What's bad for my hair?
Okay.
Does that make sense? You can do, in fact, what Jane, who is one of my superheroes and who is the organic beautician and the UK's only Dr. Hauschka kind of beautician. You can do what she did and write a book called The Skin Credible Journey, which is all about what she does for her clients, because she sells Dr. Hauschka stuff, but she also, what she does is that she's a beautician, so she does facial treatments and things like that.
Okay.
But she wrote a book telling people how to do all of the stuff that people pay her to do for them themselves at home.
Right.
And so that's exactly what you would, you were just saying, well, why do I want to write a book and give away all my secrets? That's exactly what Jane just did. And ever since then, she's got a regular column in one of the glossy magazines for the Cotswolds. And I know that's brought her more clientele. She's probably sells more Dr. Hauschka stuff. She certainly sells more to me and Julia, because I know that we both use it. And, I've read the book, I've dipped in and out of it, and my morning skincare and evening skincare routine takes me like 5 minutes because I'm very averse to spending time on that kind of thing. And it's just really cool. And so, by writing that book, there's nobody else that I'm going to go to for that kind of thing now. It's a little bit far for me to go to regular treatments, but, if I want a treat, I'm going to be calling up Jane and saying, can I book an appointment, please? I'm going to be in your area next week.
Okay.
So that's why. Does that make sense?
It does. I can hear business owners going, but that doesn't make sense for me though.
Oh, but my business is different.
My business is different.
Your business is not different because you are in the business of solving people's problems. And if somebody has, whatever you do for people, whether it's luxury goods or whether it's, dog walking or, whatever, you're solving a problem for people. Even if it's a luxury thing, it's like, I fancy a treat, and that's a problem. It's not a problem. It's like where can I get a treat? You know what I mean. Don't look at me blankly. So yeah, your business is not different. Give you an example of somebody who might say, well, my business is different.
A mechanic. Car mechanic.
Car mechanic. Okay, car mechanic. And this, by the way, if you are listening to this and you run a garage and you are a car mechanic, you are missing a manillion tricks. That's a brand new word I just made up. Manillion.
Manillion.
It's bigger than bazillion.
Okay.
You are missing a manillion tricks because everybody hates car mechanics. It's like, I'm sorry, dudes, but we do, especially if you're a woman, because you patronize us. Your places are always shitty and dirty. They're unwelcoming to women, and they're just... The number of times I've been into a garage and they've spoken to you, Joe, instead of me, particularly motorbike garages. So if you really wanted to corner a market and, get loyal customers who are never going to go anywhere else, you could open a garage that is really female friendly and talk to us like we're human beings and know what we're talking about, because a lot of us do. And, make it a bit nicer. I think blokes would appreciate somewhere that isn't covered in oil as well to sit down. Perhaps have a decent cup of coffee while you're waiting.
What? Writing a book. What's the book?
Okay, writing a book. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
Split off there.
Okay, so you could write a book all about how to look after your car in between services, in between, how to make sure that you pay me as a mechanic a little bit less. And that sounds counterintuitive, but it's not, because here's another thing that I would like to do. And if somebody wrote a book and then offered me this at the end of the book, I would like to pay a car garage, a mechanic, a monthly payment that would cover my MOT, my yearly service, maybe, being picked up and taken away, because it's a real pain in the arse when you're a business owner to have to drop your car in somewhere and then pick it up again. Courtesy car. I would happily pay 50 quid a month or something for all of that to be taken care of.
And just happen without your interaction. Yeah,
and you could have, different tiers, and you could say, that covers up to X amount of stuff. If things need replacing, spark plugs, blah, 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 and, you'd work that out based on your margins and whatnot. But if that was an upsell at the end of the book that you wrote, telling me how to look after my car and how to have it, how to spend as little time as possible looking after my car.
You could do all of this stuff yourself, or give me 50 quid a month. I'll do it.
No, and give me 50 quid a month, because then, when I do come to do all of the servicing and stuff, and, tell people how to service it as well, because, some people will do it themselves, but most people won't.
No.
And if you've written a book on all of that stuff, then who's going to be and I've bought that book, who am I going to go to? Unless I live a long way away, this is very much a local business kind of thing.
Yeah.
But especially, if you're the only garage in your, 20-mile area that's got a book, who do you think is going to be the most popular garage out there? I can tell you now it's going to be you. By a country mile. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can't write a book, because I know that will be the next thing, either because you haven't got enough time or because you just don't feel like you're a writer, then that's nonsense as well, with all due respect. Anyone can write a book. You really can. It might not be War and Peace. It might not be the world's greatest work of, literary whatever, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be interesting. Yeah, interesting and valuable to the person who's going to pick it up and read it. And you do have time, because it doesn't have to take forever. You can write, if you put aside an hour or so a day, and everybody can find an hour or so a day, because there's always, I could easily find an hour a day if I were to, turn off Netflix for an hour in the evening. You can get plenty done then. The way I teach people to write books makes it super, super easy. Or you can do a course. I offer a course on how to write a book, and how to write and publish your book in 90 days. It usually takes people a bit longer than that, but it can be done in 90 days. I know, because people have done it, including me. Or you could get a ghostwriter to do it. There are people who will ghostwrite your book for you, and you can go. And there are other ways as well. If you feel like you can't write it, you can speak it into a dictaphone and then send it off to be transcribed and then tidy it up.
Yeah.
Which is
That's a lot better than staring at a blank piece of paper for weeks, isn't it?
Exactly. And the way I teach people to write books is it just breaks it down and makes it super, super simple. And I'm going to give you the very first stage now. If you're thinking, oh, maybe I could write a book, just come up with one thing. And this is really important, because one of the big mistakes people make is they try and throw everything at, a thing that they're doing. It's like, I need to cram all of the information in my head. I need to get it out of my head and put it there. You don't. You just need to think of the one most valuable idea that people will benefit from, and then write about it. So once you've got that one idea, then you can break that down into different sections, and they will form your chapters. And then you break that down further.
Okay.
And suddenly, before you know it, you've got a really detailed outline of a book that's almost ready to go.
Cool.
Yeah. How cool does that sound?
Sounds all right.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if you come to mine and Misty's Breaking Bread Mastermind in San Diego, California, on November, the first weekend of November, the 2nd to the 5th. That's what I will be going through with people. I will be going through how to outline, how to come up with an idea for, and make a detailed outline of your book so that when you go away, you'll be able to write it.
You're going to have to get on with it, though, because that's in a month's time.
Yes, it is in a month's time. There are super cheap flights out there, by the way. You could get to San Diego and back for less than 300 quid from the UK. And we've kept it really affordable as well. So, depending on whether you've been before or whether you're one of my superheroes. But yeah, it's very affordable. And
this is about meeting people and learning stuff. This is not about it's not about cash generation, is it? This isn't.
No, we want to cover our costs.
Yeah, cover the costs, have some fun, meet some people.
But your ticket price covers your hot seat, which will be at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how many people go. It will cover some specialist teaching by me and Misty. Mine is going to be how to get started on your book. I don't know what Misty's is going to be yet. I'm sure it will be to do with writing emails because that is what she is great at.
Okay.
And it covers your accommodation for 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Covers all of your meals.
Does not cover all of your booze.
Does not cover all of your booze. We learned our lesson last time.
We made that mistake last time.
It does cover your Friday night welcome drinks, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be sensible with the booze, but we're not getting you drunk for 3 nights in a row.
No, we are not. And it's right on the beachfront. The place that we have rented is right on the beachfront. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. We've got a trip to a winery planned.
Nice.
And it's just going to be totally fabulous. So if you would like to go, we've already sold 4 out of the 8 seats.
And what is the traditional breaking bread near-death experience going to be?
Don't know yet. Maybe surfing?
Okay.
Although that might be a bit...
Sharks. Chased by sharks.
Chased by sharks, possibly, yeah. And if you want to know what the last near-death experience was, you need to go to our Breaking Bread Mastermind website, which is breakingbreadmastermind.com.
Nice.
Yeah. And from there, you can find out a little bit more. You can read all about the experiences that people had last year. This year, in May.
Earlier this year.
Yeah, in the UK. They loved it. It was life-changing for a few people, I think. And, yeah, and you'll be able to book your place. Come along. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. And Joe's going to be there. He's going to be our pit crew.
Yep.
He will be there in his tiny pants.
Excellent.
Is that the first you heard about that?
Yeah.
And I will teach you how you can write a book very, very quickly and very, very easily. And it'll be a good book as well.
Useful book.
Useful book, not just a fluffy filler book.
Sweet.
So yeah, that is this week's podcast.
22 minutes of off-the-cuff podcast.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Is there anything that we've missed book writing wise?
Probably.
Yeah, well, obviously, But in terms of, why people can and can't write a book. Oh, here's one, addendum to the podcast. A lot of people will say, but there's already books on my subject.
Yeah.
What can I add that's new?
They weren't written by you.
They weren't written by you. And, it's a lot of the books that are out there, some of them are brilliant. Some of them are very generalist. Like, I read a lot of marketing books, a lot of copywriting books when I started my business. And the one that I wrote was very specifically the one that I wished that I'd had.
Right.
And people have read that and been like, oh my God, this is just such a great book. It's so easy to follow. And yeah. So, and it's my take on things and it's my experience. And, that isn't out there anywhere else. And if you're building a group of people, this is the other thing, you see, it will build a tribe of people that really want to be involved with what you're doing. And they will be interested in what you're doing, and they will love you for it. Well, they will either love you or hate you, and either of those is fine. If they don't like you, they'll go their separate ways. If they love you, then they'll be in your world for the foreseeable.
Yeah.
And they will want.
The other thing it's done for you specifically as well. Is it's kind of pre-trained anybody who's come into your world.
Yes.
Nobody who has read your book
would ask for a discount.
Nobody who comes into your world, having read your book, balks at the price. No,
because they know that I'm not going to be cheap.
And yeah, they know why.
Yeah, they know they're going to get good value. And they also know how I work. They know what to expect from me. They know that, I'm going to be totally different from, for example, somebody like Gary Vee. I'm like the polar opposite of Gary Vee. I mean, no, fair play to him. He does his thing. And that's fine. I'm going to be totally different to any of the other kind of online marketing people out there. I'm me, and, that you're going to either like me or not, and that's fine. And that's
but you'll know that by reading the book.
Exactly. And that's what this podcast does as well, by the way. So the podcast is all linked to it. So, yeah, we'll be back same time next week from the UK.
Not from a tent.
And in the meantime, go to breakingbreadmastermind.com and...
Is that all one word?
Yeah, all one word. And the link will be in the show notes. Book your place because they're going to go.
Yeah.
We oversold last time. We're not going to do that this time. And yeah. And if you are interested in my book writing course, drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com. And I'll let you know more about it. So I'm just changing it onto a different platform at the moment.
Sweet.
Thanks, Joe.
No worries.
We'll be back same time next week. Thank you very much, Podfly guys, as always. And oh, yes. I would love to see you in Costa Rica, Anne. One of the Podfly guys is based over there.
Nice.
Yeah. So have a splendid time, people, and we will be back same time next week. If you can't be good, don't get caught, and bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.